emotional night.
On August 18th, 2023, Edge competed in his final WWE match. Before we get there though, we need to go back 49 years, 9 months, and 19 days. On October 30th, 1973, Edge was welcomed into the world. He was raised by a single mother in the town of Orangeville, Ontario, and never met or even seen a picture of his father. This led Edge to develop an even stronger bond with his uncles, especially his Uncle Gary. However, Edge's 17-year-old uncle sadly died when the Radar Superstar was just 7. That's when Edge would use wrestling as an escape. Over the next several years, Edge became more and more of a fan, which led him to become friends with Jason Rizzo, aka Christian. Both of them realized at a young age they wanted to become wrestlers and were trying to figure out how to turn their dream into a reality. Edge's opportunity came when a local wrestling school was offering free training for whoever could write the best essay about why they wanted to become a wrestler. Edge won, but his first steps into wrestling were not easy. The ultimate opportunist had to train in a boxing ring, which hurt a lot more than a wrestling ring. Despite the pain, Edge refused to quit, and eventually Christian joined him. Over the next several years, Edge and Christian would wrestle throughout Canada and the United States. Finally, after scratching and clawing for roughly 4 years, Edge finally got signed by WWE. Edge would start by competing in non-televised matches under his real name, Adam Copeland. It wasn't until 1998, though, that Edge's WWE career officially began. Videos would play on Raw, which introduced fans to Edge. The future Rated R Superstar's character was a rogue, anti-establishment individual, but Edge himself would later admit he wasn't even 100% sure what his first character was supposed to be. Though promo videos ultimately led to Edge's WWE debut, which unfortunately ended in disaster. Fitting with his loner persona, Edge entered through the crowd, something that would become a signature part of Edge's character during the beginning of his WWE career. Edge's first WWE opponent was Jose Estrada. Jose didn't get an entrance and immediately started attacking Edge once the debuting wrestler got in the ring. Edge rebounded by hitting his first move in WWE, a spear, and then sent Estrada to the outside. Edge hit Jose with a senton, but accidentally connected with Estrada's neck. Jose Estrada was legitimately injured, so the referee counted to 10, and Edge won his first match by countout. While Estrada would wrestle a bit more, this was more or less the beginning of the end of his career. Beyond that, the only other thing worth mentioning is how cool it was that Edge's first move in WWE was a spear. Something else that's cool is the sponsor of this video, Factor. Factor makes eating easy, convenient, and delicious. They deliver fresh, never frozen, dietitian-approved meals right to you. What I love about Factor is that their meals arrive pre-prepared and are ready to eat in 2 minutes, which completely eliminates the time and hassle of grocery shopping and cooking. I also like that Factor does the heavy lifting for you by providing chef-prepared meals that make it easy to eat well. Now all of that is great, but is it good food? Well, let me put it this way. If Edge is the Rated R Superstar, Factor should be called the Rated D Superstar, and the D stands for delicious. I got the Chef's Choice meal selection and absolutely love it. However, Factor has over 27 meals and 33 plus add-on options for you to choose from, and their menu is updated weekly. Now, if you're still hesitant about giving Factor a try, just listen to this. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code TAPOUT50 to get 50% off your first Factor box. Yes, I did not misspeak. If you go to factor75.com right now and use code TAPOUT50, you'll save 50% on your first Factor box. Eliminate the hassle and start enjoying nutritious and delicious meals today. Following his debut, Edge's career remained steady. He continued to pick up wins, but didn't do much of substance. His next big moment was at SummerSlam 1998, where he was Sable's mystery tag team partner. In his pay-per-view debut, Edge and Sable won, defeating Mark Marrow and Jacqueline. Things didn't get interesting until the next pay-per-view, Breakdown in Your House. Edge faced off against Owen Hart, during which Christian made his WWE debut. The distraction allowed Owen to win, which gave Edge his first defeat. It was explained that, in the storyline, Christian was Edge's brother. Christian aligned himself with Gangrel, someone Edge was feuding with at the time. While they started as enemies, Edge eventually gave in and joined Christian and Gangrel, forming a group called The Brood. Over the next several months, The Brood got some wins, but also had their fair share of losses. Despite the popularity of the group, Edge and Christian and Gangrel didn't have anything to sink their teeth into until February 1999. The Brood began feuding with the Ministry of Darkness, a faction led by The Undertaker. Edge's group was eventually converted and became members of the Ministry. They would aid Undertaker in his matches, but also be the victims of beatings by the Ministry. Things reached a boiling point when Christian was put in an ankle lock by Ken Shamrock and revealed the location of Stephanie McMahon, whom the Ministry of Darkness had kidnapped. Undertaker told Edge and Gangrel Guerrero to sacrifice Christian, but the two refused and broke away from the Ministry. With the Brood back on its own, they started a rivalry with the Acolytes, a tag team that was working for the Ministry. Unfortunately for Edge, his team would lose every time they locked up with the Acolytes. At the same time, Jeff and Matt Hardy had recently debuted in WWE. They quickly butted heads with Edge and Christian, leading to a tag team match at King of the Ring 1999, with the winners receiving a tag team championship match. The Hardys came out on top that night, but Edge and Christian would cross paths with Jeff and Matt again soon. After that, Edge and Christian ended their partnership with Gangrel when he betrayed them during a 6-man tag team match against the corporate Ministry. Following this, Edge won his first championship in WWE, but it happened in an unusual way. During a non-televised show in Toronto, Edge fought the Intercontinental Champion Jeff Jarrett for the belt. The plan was for Edge to pin Jarrett, but then have the decision reversed, allowing Jeff to walk out still the champion. However, WWE decided to call an audible, and Edge won his first championship. However, the celebration was short-lived, as the next day, at the fully loaded 1999 pay-per-view, Edge lost the title back to Jeff Jarrett. Afterward, Edge resumed his tag team career with Christian. Over the next several months, the two would fight tooth and nail to become tag team champions, but didn't have any success. Beginning in September 1999, Edge and Christian rekindled their rivalry with Jeff and Matt Hardy. They both wanted the managerial services of Terry, leading to a best-of-5 series of matches called the Terry Invitational Tournament. Edge and Christian won the first two matches, with the Hardys winning the third and fourth. This set up their iconic ladder match at No Mercy 1999. While Edge and Christian lost, the reception they got from the match was all that mattered. This led to mutual respect between Edge, Christian, and the Hardys, and saw the two teams work together, although they would still fight one another. Around this time, a third team got added to the mix, the Dudley Boys. For the rest of 1999 and into 2000, Edge and Christian feuded the Dudleys and the Hardys, while also continuing to pursue the Tag Team Championship. At WrestleMania 2000, the former Brood took on the Hardys and the Tag Team Champions, the Dudleys, in a triangle ladder match. After many failed attempts, Edge and Christian finally got the gold and became champions. Following the victory, Edge and Christian would change their characters. They'd become more comedic and introduce their iconic 5-second pose for flash photography. After WrestleMania, Edge and Christian would win the tag team titles 4 more times in 2000, often in matches involving the Dudleys and the Hardys. The former Brood members lost the titles of the 2001 Royal Rumble, but regained them at WrestleMania 17 in another critically acclaimed match. This was also the match where Edge gave his famous spear to Jeff Hardy. The title reign was over in a couple of weeks when Edge and Christian were defeated by the Brothers of Destruction. This would also be the last time Edge and Christian were tag team champions together, mainly due to what happened next. A few months after losing the tag championship, Edge entered the 2001 King of the Ring and won. Soon after, the Radar Superstar won the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam. Christian became jealous of Edge's success and attacked his brother shortly after SummerSlam, officially ending their tag team. This began a rivalry with Edge winning 3 out of the 4 singles matches he and Christian had in 2001. In November of that year, the Radar Superstar would briefly lose his Intercontinental Championship to Test. However, Edge defeated Kurt Angle to win the WCW United States Championship and then defeated Test in a rematch to unify the US and IC belts. Edge ended 2001 as champion, but the momentum wouldn't carry over into the new year. At the 2002 Royal Rumble, Edge lost the Intercontinental title to William Regal and had no success winning it back. Then, the Radar Superstar got put into one of the most ridiculous storylines in WWE history. Edge began a feud with Booker T after he took a shampoo commercial from Booker. This sign says it all. Regardless, Edge beat Booker T at WrestleMania 18, making Edge 3-0 at the event. Afterward, WWE introduced the brand split, and Edge was sent to SmackDown. Keeping with the shampoo theme, Edge's first rivalry on the blue brand was against Kurt Angle, ultimately leading to a hair vs. hair match that Edge won. After a short break due to an injury, Edge returned and won the WWE Tag Team Championship with his childhood hero, Hulk Hogan. The tag team reign came to an end a few weeks later when Edge and the Hulkster lost to Lance Storm and, ironically, Christian. After that, Edge feuded with Eddie Guerrero, which saw the Ultimate Opportunist win 2 out of their 3 matches. While the feud itself wasn't anything overly special, there was a moment that affected Edge for the rest of his life and career. On the September 26, 2002 episode of SmackDown, Edge and Guerrero fought in a no disqualification match. One spot saw Edge fall onto a ladder. The move caused Edge to injure his neck, but he didn't notice anything serious at first. In the meantime, Edge moved back to tag team wrestling again with his new partner, Rey Mysterio. They fought Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit at No Mercy 2002 to become the first SmackDown exclusive tag team champions. Edge and Rey didn't win, but they did get voted Match of the Year. Plus, just a few weeks later, Edge and Mysterio defeated the champions in a 2 out of 3 falls match and won the titles. However, as would often happen when Edge became a champion, he lost the title just a few weeks later. With no titles around their waist, Edge and Rey Mysterio agreed to part ways and focused on their singles careers. As 2003 rolled in, Edge formed an alliance with Chris Benoit and later Brock Lesnar against Kurt Angle, Shelton Benjamin, and Charlie Haas. The two teams were supposed to face off at No Way Out, but the injury Edge sustained against Eddie Guerrero had worsened. It was so bad that Edge was at risk of injuring himself or his opponent. To write Edge off, WWE had him attacked backstage at No Way Out. It would be over a year later when WWE fans would see Edge again. During the 2004 WWE draft, the Radar superstar made his return, being drafted to Raw. Soon after, Edge had his first match back, defeating Kane at Backlash. While it seemed like everything was good, the clock had begun to tick on Edge's career. The night after Backlash, Edge teamed with Chris Benoit, and they defeated Batista and Ric Flair to win the World Tag Team Championship. Of course, though, this wasn't a lengthy title reign. Edge and Benoit lost the belts to La Resistance a little over a month later, and soon after that, they went their separate ways. Edge did rebound well, however, as he defeated Randy Orton in July to become a 5-time Intercontinental Champion. Edge actually held the belt for a respectable 57 days, including a successful defense at SummerSlam. However, a groin injury in September 2004 forced Edge to vacate the belt. This would also be the last time Edge ever held the IC title. Thankfully, though, Edge's recovery was a lot quicker, and he was back in under 2 months. At Taboo Tuesday, Edge was one of 3 wrestlers fans could vote for to challenge the World Heavyweight Champion, Triple H. Shawn Michaels won, forcing Edge to team with the other option, Chris Benoit. Edge wasn't happy about this and abandoned Benoit during their Tag Team Championship match against La Resistance. Despite Edge's absence, Chris Benoit still won the match, making Edge a Tag Team Champion again. Later in the night, Edge interfered in the World Heavyweight Championship match between Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Edge attacked HBK, allowing the game to win. Edge and Benoit had a rematch against La Resistance soon after Taboo Tuesday, where Edge once again left his tag team partner. Benoit lost the match, but the Radar superstar didn't seem to care, even attacking the Crippler after the defeat. It was also around this time that Edge started using his iconic Metalingus theme song. Edge and Benoit got their hands on each other at Survivor Series when they were on opposite teams, with Edge actually pinning his former tag team partner. Soon after, Edge and Chris Benoit found themselves in a number one contenders battle royal for the World Heavyweight Championship. The two were the final participants and were eliminated at the same time. This resulted in both men facing the world champion, Triple H. During the triple threat match, Chris Benoit made Edge submit, while at the same time, Edge pinned Benoit. Rather than allow Triple H to keep the belt, the World Heavyweight Championship was vacated. A new champion would be crowned at the first pay-per-view of 2005, New Year's Revolution. Shawn Michaels was the special guest referee, whom Edge accidentally speared once the match got started. The showstopper fought back by hitting Edge with sweet chin music, resulting in Edge being the first person eliminated. While the year didn't start off strong for the Radar star, Edge got his revenge at the Royal Rumble by defeating Shawn Michaels. That same night, Edge entered the Rumble match and made it to the final 3. It was clear that it was only a matter of time before Edge became a world champion, and it became crystal clear at WrestleMania 21. At the show, Edge won the first Money in the Bank match, giving him a championship match at any time. However, this didn't stop Edge from entering the Gold Rush tournament, where the winner would receive a World Heavyweight Championship match. Edge made it to the final round, where he took on Kane. Thanks to interference from Lita, who is now Edge's on-screen and real-life girlfriend, the Radar superstar won. Unfortunately, the success didn't carry over to his World Heavyweight Championship match, which he lost. In the aftermath, Edge began a feud with Kane. The two traded victories, but the rivalry soon came to an end in July 2005. During a match between the two on Raw, Matt Hardy ran in and attacked Edge. The attack came due to a real-life incident that happened several months earlier. In April 2005, Matt was fired from WWE due to unprofessional conduct after he learned his girlfriend, Lita, had an affair with his best friend, Edge. Of course, being wrestling, this was turned into a storyline, and Matt Hardy was brought back. Over the next several months, Edge and Matt Hardy had a pretty brutal feud. While Edge was the villain, he did usually come out on top in their one-on-one matches. The rivalry finally ended on October 3rd, 2005 in a loser leaves Raw match. Edge won, keeping him on the red brand. Around this time, Edge suffered a torn pectoral muscle, which kept him out of action for a short while. Edge continued to appear on TV though, hosting his own show called The Cutting Edge. This is also when Edge started calling himself the Rated R Superstar. He used his show to degrade Ric Flair, who had recently been arrested for a road rage incident. Edge and the Nature Boy finally went at it at New Year's Revolution 2006, with Flair's Intercontinental Championship on the line. Edge got himself disqualified, but that wasn't what made the event memorable. After John Cena retained his WWE Championship in the main event, Edge came out and cashed in his Money in the Bank contract. In under 2 minutes, Edge defeated John Cena and finally won his first World Championship. The Rated R Superstar followed that moment up with a very R-rated celebration with his girlfriend Lita. Unfortunately, just as the tail ring came, it went away. After a successful defense against Ric Flair, Edge was defeated by John Cena in a rematch at the Royal Rumble. Edge got his championship rematch a few weeks later, where Mick Foley was a special guest referee. Edge failed and blamed it on Foley. This ultimately led to Edge and Mick's iconic hardcore match at WrestleMania 22, best remembered for this moment. Edge won, making him 5-0 at WrestleMania. Despite starting as enemies, Edge and Foley became friends. During a triple threat hardcore match that also involved Tommy Dreamer, Mick betrayed Dreamer. Foley and Edge would say that their WrestleMania match was so brutal it made them the true hardcore champions and brought them together. This led to a 3-on-3 match at One Night Stand 2006 that saw Edge and Mick Foley's team come out on top. Later that night, Edge would also attack John Cena, allowing Rob Van Dam to win the WWE Championship. Edge eventually regained the WWE title in July 2006 when he fought and defeated RVD and John Cena in a triple threat match. This basically restarted Edge and John Cena's rivalry from the beginning of the year. Following Edge's victory, he and Cena would have 3 more championship matches. In the first one, Edge lost via disqualification, allowing him to retain the belt. The second match was at SummerSlam, with a stipulation that if Edge got DQ'd, he would lose the title. Edge won this time, but only after using a pair of brass knucks behind the referee's back. Following this, things got even crazier. Edge destroyed the Spinner WWE Championship and replaced it with his own. John Cena fought back by giving Edge an AA into a river, and much more. Finally, Edge and Cena made a deal. They would compete in one more match for the WWE Championship. If Cena lost though, he would move to SmackDown. Despite it being a TLC match and taking place in Toronto, Edge couldn't get the job done and John Cena was the champ again. Edge got his rematch shortly after, and this began the next chapter of Edge's career. The former champ took on the current champ in a steel cage match. During the fight, Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch interfered to help Edge. However, Triple H and Shawn Michaels ran in to even things, allowing John Cena to retain. With 2 new enemies, Edge asked Randy Orton to fight with him against DX. Orton accepted, leading to the formation of Rated RKO. The 2 tag teams clashed at Cyber Sunday, where Eric Bischoff was voted to be the special guest referee. Thanks to Bischoff's biased officiating, Edge and Randy Orton were victorious in their first match as a team. They followed this up by winning the World Tag Team Championship a few weeks later, making Edge an 11-time tag team champion. Rated RKO's feud with DX continued with the Survivor Series elimination match. This is where the group's momentum sort of died down. DX's team eliminated all 5 members of Rated RKO's team in a clean sweep. Around this time too, Lita retired from WWE, ending Edge's on-screen relationship with her. Edge and Orton were still the champs though, and they got back at Triple H and Michaels by attacking Ric Flair. This set up a rematch at New Year's Revolution 2007, where Triple H infamously injured his knee. Because of this, the match ended in a no contest. The rivalry between the teams raged on though, with John Cena eventually becoming HBK's new partner. It proved to be a good pairing, as Edge and Randy Orton would lose their World Tag Team Championship to them in January 2007. This also led to tension between Randy and Edge, as both began focusing on the world title. This came as both men qualified for the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 23. Unfortunately, Edge's undefeated streak ended here, when Jeff Hardy hit Edge with a massive leg drop that saw both men taken out of the match. I guess that was payback for the spear at WrestleMania 17. Despite not winning the briefcase, Edge still pursued the WWE Championship, but was unsuccessful. This finally led to the implosion of Rated RKO. Edge and Randy Orton fought each other on Raw, with the Rated R Superstar getting the better of the Viper. After this, Edge would taunt the Money in the Bank winner, Mr. Kennedy, into a match with the briefcase on the line. Kennedy accepted, but Edge played dirty and beat up Kennedy before the bell rang. The Money in the Bank winner still honored the match and gave the Ultimate Opportunist an easy win. With the briefcase now in his possession, Edge would cash in just a few days later on SmackDown. After defending the World Heavyweight title in a steel cage match, The Undertaker was attacked by Mark Henry. Edge then came out, cashed in, and beat the Dead Man to become the new World Champion. Because of this, Edge moved from Raw to SmackDown. Edge's first 3 title defenses were all on pay-per-view and all against Batista. Each and every time, though, the Rated R superstar managed to walk away with the belt. In July 2007, the SmackDown general manager, Theodore Lawn, revealed that Kane would become Edge's next challenger. Before a match could happen, though, Edge was attacked by Kane and taken out of action. This forced the Rated R superstar to relinquish the world title as well. The ex-champion wasn't gone for long, though. At Survivor Series, Edge disguised himself as a cameraman and attacked The Undertaker and the new world champion, Batista. It was soon revealed that Edge was in a relationship with the new SmackDown general manager, Vicky Guerrero. Thanks to this, Edge got a title match against Batista shortly after his return. However, the match ended in a no contest due to interference from The Undertaker. The 3 men would clash at Armageddon 2007, where Edge had another trick up his sleeve. During the match, not 1, but 3 Edges would appear, who later turned out to be Curt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. Thanks to their assistance, Edge won and became a 2-time World Heavyweight Champion. Following this, a group would be formed called La Familia, which consisted of Edge, Zack Ryder, Curt Hawkins, Vicky Guerrero, and Chavo Guerrero. Edge still had enemies though, and thanks to The Undertaker interfering in a Beat the Clock challenge, Rey Mysterio became Edge's first challenger in the new year. They faced off at the 2008 Royal Rumble, where help from La Familia allowed Edge to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. Edge fought Rey Mysterio again at the next pay-per-view, No Way Out, where the result was the same as before. However, at the same show, The Undertaker won an Elimination Chamber match, making him the new #1 contender for the world title. Edge would get the better of The Undertaker a few times in the lead up to their match, giving the champion the advantage. At WrestleMania 24, Taker and Edge went 1-on-1 for the first time since Edge cashed in Money in the Bank the year prior. La Familia, of course, interfered, but the Dead Man wasn't going down that easily. Undertaker kept the match alive and defeated the Rated R superstar with the Hell's Gate submission to win the match and the title. Edge got his rematch at Backlash, and despite help from Ryder and Hawkins again, Edge still could not regain the gold. Since Vicky Guerrero was in control of SmackDown, she had The Undertaker's Hell's Gate banned. Since he used it to defeat Edge at Backlash, Vicky had the World Heavyweight title stripped from the Dead Man. Edge and Taker ultimately had a third match at Judgment Day for the championship. Undertaker ended up winning via countout, which led Vicky Guerrero to say the title was still vacant. This set the stage for a 4th match at the next pay-per-view, One Night Stand. The match was TLC, making it more favorable to Edge. Of course though, La Familia still interfered, which allowed Edge to win his 3rd World Heavyweight Championship. Vicky also had the stipulation that if Undertaker lost, he would be fired. Without the Dead Man to feud with, Edge reignited his rivalry with Batista. The Animal earned a championship match against Edge at Night of Champions, and despite La Familia's attempts to prevent it from happening, the match went on as scheduled. Some shenanigans from the family, though, allowed Edge to walk out, still the champion. The next night, though, Batista got his revenge and laid out Edge. This allowed the Money in the Bank winner, CM Punk, to cash in and dethrone Edge with ease. This all happened just days before Edge was supposed to marry Vicky Guerrero. Because of how upset he was, Edge called off the wedding and took out his frustrations on his fiancée. Vicky then saved the Rated R star from a chair attack by the Big Show, and the couple reconciled, and the wedding was back on. During the ceremony, though, Triple H made an uninvited appearance. He then showed secret footage of Edge cheating on Vicky with the wedding planner, Alicia Fox. Of course, Vicky was none too happy about this, and it only got worse for Edge. He lost a WWE Championship match at the Great American Bash, and afterward, Vicky Guerrero rehired The Undertaker and set up a match between Edge and The Phenom at SummerSlam. Edge was defeated in spectacular fashion and would disappear for a while. At Survivor Series 2008, the WWE Championship match was supposed to be Triple H defending against Vladimir Kozlov and Jeff Hardy. However, Hardy was found unconscious in his hotel, making him unable to compete. It then became a singles match between Kozlov and The Game, but in the middle of it, Vicky Guerrero announced the match had become a triple threat again. However, it was a returning Edge that would be the 3rd participant. Jeff Hardy did eventually get involved in the match, but in all the chaos, Edge won, making him a 3-time WWE champion. The celebration didn't last long, however, as Edge fought Triple H and Jeff Hardy about a month later. Hardy won that that encounter, making Edge championship-less again. The Radar Superstar would get his rematch at the first pay-per-view of 2009, the Royal Rumble. At the event, Edge regained the WWE title again thanks to Matt Hardy interfering. However, the WWE Championship was still suffering from hot potato syndrome. At the next pay-per-view, No Way Out, Edge defended the WWE Championship in an Elimination Chamber match. Edge and Jeff Hardy kicked things off, and Jeff managed to get the better of the champion by pinning Edge. The Radar Superstar was without a belt again, but he had a plan. Later in the show, Edge attacked Kofi Kingston and took his place in the chamber match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Edge won the match, allowing him to end the night with gold back around his waist. The former champion, John Cena, got his rematch 2 weeks later and did win, but due to disqualification. Afterward, Edge gave the Big Show a World Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania for looking after Vicky Guerrero. However, John Cena ended up blackmailing Vicky so that he'd get a championship match at WrestleMania 2. This resulted in a triple threat match at the grandest stage of them all. Once again, Edge lost the match and the title, but don't be too sad. Edge got his rematch at Backlash in the form of a last man standing match. Thanks to help from the Big Show, Edge regained the World Heavyweight Championship, making this the 5th time he won the belt. Edge's former rival, Jeff Hardy, soon became the #1 contender, setting up a match at Judgment Day. Like at the Rumble, Matt Hardy interfered, allowing Edge to retain. However, Jeff Hardy was given a rematch against Edge at Extreme Rules, with the title being defended in a ladder match. Even though both men had plenty of history of ladders, Jeff Hardy edged out the victory and became the new World Heavyweight Champion. This put an end to Edge's world title pursuits, and at about the same time, the Radar Superstar would break up with Vicky Guerrero. In June 2009, Edge would form a new tag team with Chris Jericho. The two were surprise participants in the Unified Tag Team Championship match at the Bash pay-per-view. Edge and Jericho won, but just days after the victory, Edge got injured. The Radar Superstar was put on the sidelines, and his tag team partner would mock him. Edge is out for the rest of 2009, but came back in a big way. At the 2010 Royal Rumble, Edge entered at number 29 and won the match. The Rumble winner wasn't in any rush to pick his WrestleMania opponent though. At the next pay-per-view Elimination Chamber, Chris Jericho won the World Heavyweight Championship. Edge gave his former tag team partner a surprise attack and said he'd be seeing Y2J at WrestleMania. The two locked up on March 28, 2010. However, Edge failed to regain the world title. Edge would avenge his defeat the following month by defeating Jericho at Extreme Rules, although the world title wasn't on the line since Chris Jericho had lost it by then. After that, Edge was drafted to Raw, where he began a feud with another former tag team partner. The rivalry started after Randy Orton refused to reform Rated RKO. Edge would attack Orton and cost him matches, while Randy would do the same. The two fought at Over the Limit, but the match ended in a double countout. They crossed paths again a little later, this time in a Fatal 4-Way match for the WWE Championship that involved John Cena and Sheamus, but neither Edge nor Orton won. Following all of this, Edge would fight against the group called the Nexus. The Radar Superstar, as well as several other wrestlers, were chosen by John Cena to battle against the group of rookies. The two teams clashed at SummerSlam 2010. While Edge was eliminated, his team did ultimately win. After this, Edge would start feuding with a laptop. The Radar Superstar got annoyed with the anonymous Raw general manager, who would communicate via messages on a computer. This ultimately resulted in Edge being traded to Raw in October 2010, which was for the better. He soon became a member of Team SmackDown for the 2010 Bragging Rights pay-per-view, and better than that, Edge won the match. The Radar Superstar's momentum carried into the following episode of SmackDown, where he became the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. To get inside the mind of the champion, Kane, Edge kidnapped Kane's father, Paul Bearer, and started torturing him. At Survivor Series, Edge got his match against the Big Red Machine. Edge did get the pin, but due to his shoulders also being on the mat, the referee ruled the match a draw, and Kane was still the champ. Edge got a second chance at the final pay-per-view of the year, TLC. The Radar Star fought Kane, Rey Mysterio, and Alberto Del Rio in a tables, ladders, and chairs match. This proved to be the X Factor, and Edge won his 6th World Heavyweight Championship. Edge solidified his victory a few weeks later by defeating Kane in a last man standing match on the first SmackDown of 2011. At the same time, Dolph Ziggler had become the #1 contender for the world title. Ziggler was aligned with Edge's ex, Vicky Guerrero, who was the acting general manager of SmackDown. In an ironic turn of events, Vicky had Edge's finisher, the Spear, banned from his title defense against Ziggler. Despite the ban, Edge used the Spear when the referee got knocked down and won the match. Following this, Vicky Guerrero and Ziggler would try for 3 straight weeks to take the world title from Edge. Vicky even fired Edge at one point and awarded the title to Dolph. However, Teddy Long returned as the GM, reinstated Edge, and the Radar Superstar won back his championship. There was no rest for the champ, however, as soon after, Edge had to defend the World Heavyweight Championship inside the Elimination Chamber. Despite the odds, Edge won and retained his title. In another ironic twist, the 2011 Royal Rumble winner, Alberto Del Rio, attacked Edge after the victory and challenged him to a match at WrestleMania. Edge's brotherly best friend Christian returned at this time too and aided Edge during his rivalry with Del Rio. Captain Charisma would also accompany Edge for his Mania match and helped fight off Alberto's goons. After not having won at WrestleMania in 5 years, the Radar Superstar finally did and retained the World Heavyweight Championship. After this big victory, fans were hit with some unfortunate news. 8 days after WrestleMania, Edge said that due to injuries to his neck, he would need to retire. While his in-ring career was over, Edge continued to appear in WWE for the rest of the 2010s. He helped Christian win his first world championship and even played a small role in the Authority storyline in 2014. However, Edge's appearances were sporadic and he would never get physical. That was until 2019. At SummerSlam that year, Edge interrupted a musical performance by Elias and speared him. This was Edge's first physical altercation since he speared Alberto Del Rio in 2011. Rumors began about a possible in-ring return, and they turned out to be true. At the 2020 Royal Rumble, Edge made an even bigger return than he had in 2010 by coming out at number 21. The Radar Superstar didn't win this time, but he did make 3 eliminations, including his former rival and tag team partner, Randy Orton. The next night, it looked like we were going to see a Rated RKO reunion, only for Orton to attack and brutally beat down Edge. Orton made it even more personal by assaulting Edge's wife, Beth Phoenix, a month later. The two met in a last man standing match at WrestleMania 36, where Edge was triumphant over the Apex Predator. In the aftermath, Orton admitted Edge was the better man, but questioned if he was the better wrestler. This led to Edge and Randy facing off in a singles match at Backlash. The Viper proved he was right by defeating Edge and avenging his defeat. Edge would be absent for the remainder of 2020, but returned in January 2021 by announcing he was going to participate in that year's Royal Rumble. Edge entered at number 1 and won the whole thing, last eliminating Randy Orton. Edge then defeated Orton the next night on Raw to wipe his hands clean of the Viper. Just like in 2010, Edge attacked the Universal Champion Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber to make his WrestleMania match official. A few weeks later though, Edge attacked Daniel Bryan during a match against Roman. Bryan was then added to the WrestleMania match, making it a triple threat for the Universal title. Like La Familia would do for Edge, Roman Reigns' bloodline was there to help him. This allowed Roman to retain the title and left Edge in defeat. After disappearing for 2 months, Edge returned in June 2021 and attacked both Reigns and Jey Uso. A Universal Championship match was set up for Money in the Bank soon after. This time, it was just going to be Edge and Roman. Or at least it was supposed to. The bloodline did interfere again, but Edge had Rey and Dominic Mysterio to watch his back. Unfortunately, Edge didn't account for Seth Rollins. Rollins, frustrated about losing the Money in the Bank ladder match, interfered and ultimately cost Edge the Universal Championship. This kicked off a rivalry between Edge and Seth that got personal and vicious. The two were at each other's throats for weeks until finally getting in the ring at SummerSlam. Edge won by submission, but would suffer defeat a few weeks later when Rollins beat him on SmackDown. On top of that, Seth would hospitalize the Radar Superstar in a post-match attack. Once Edge came back, he challenged Rollins to a Hell in a Cell match at Crown Jewel. The Radar Superstar won the war by beating Seth Rollins and ending the feud. After this, Edge moved on to a rivalry with The Miz. The A-lister got upset when Edge shared his list of dream opponents, and The Miz wasn't on it. Mizzy got his wish as he fought Edge at the Day 1 pay-per-view. With help from his wife, Edge won the match. The Miz wasn't finished yet though. He and his wife, Maurice, berated Edge and Beth, which led to a mixed tag team match at the 2022 Royal Rumble. Team Edge won the match, and that put an end to the Radar Superstar's feud with The Miz. With WrestleMania coming up, Edge issued an open challenge to the roster. AJ Styles accepted, but was viciously beaten by Edge. Similar to his first WWE character, Edge debuted a new, darker persona, which he carried into his WrestleMania 38 match against AJ. During their fight, Damian Priest appeared, and while he didn't do anything, the distraction allowed Edge to win. It was soon clear that Damian and Edge were together, and they formed a new faction, the Judgment Day. Edge fought AJ Styles again at WrestleMania Backlash. This time, someone in a mask interfered and helped Edge win again. After the bell, Rhea Ripley revealed she was under the mask. The Judgment Day was growing bigger and stronger, and this is only proven when Edge, Damian, and Rhea defeated AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Liv Morgan at the next pay-per-view. The following night, Edge introduced a fourth member of Judgment Day, Finn Balor. Balor explained that something during their match changed him, but this wasn't the only thing that was about to change. Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, and Balor all attacked Edge, saying he was holding them back. Edge would be absent for nearly 2 months, returning at SummerSlam to help Rey and Dominic Mysterio win their no DQ match against the Judgment Day. After that, Edge and Rey would reunite and take on Finn and Damian. Edge and Mysterio won, but they were attacked by Dominic afterward, who had also joined the Judgment Day. Rey Mysterio took care of Dom, so Edge took on Finn Balor. The two fought in an I Quit match at Extreme Rules. All of Judgment Day was there to help Balor, but when the group threatened to hurt Beth Phoenix, Edge met his breaking point and said I quit. Despite that, Judgment Day still attacked Edge's wife. Edge took a hiatus again and would return at the 2023 Royal Rumble. He entered at number 24 and eliminated both Damian Priest and Finn Balor, but ended up getting thrown out by Dominic. Edge and Beth Phoenix got their payback at Elimination Chamber when they fought and defeated Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. After that, Edge would challenge Austin Theory for the United States Championship. However, interference from Finn Balor prevented the Rated R Superstar from capturing the title. To finish this rivalry, Edge and Finn Balor faced off in a Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania. With the Judgment Day unable to interfere, Edge got the job done and defeated Balor. For the next few months, Edge had a handful of matches, but wasn't really involved in any storylines. Edge's contract was set to expire in September 2023, so it was time to say goodbye. In front of his hometown, Edge was more than ready for his final WWE match. Edge's last opponent was Sheamus. While it might seem odd, it's actually quite fitting. In 2019, Edge was biking with Sheamus when the Rated R Superstar had a wipeout. While he was scraped up, Edge actually felt fine, and it gave him his confidence back. The thought of returning to the ring entered Edge's head, which is ultimately what happened. So in a way, Edge's WWE return can be traced back to Sheamus. Once the bell rang, Edge was the first to connect by knocking Sheamus down with a shoulder tackle. Sheamus fought back with a tackle of his own and then an Irish Curse backbreaker. Edge rebounded by hitting a springboard elbow and the Edge-O-Matic, but only got a 2 count. Edge then got vicious by hitting Sheamus with a powerbomb on the outside and landing with a crossbody from the top rope. The Celtic Warrior changed the tide by hitting a tilt-a-whirl slam, but before Sheamus could hit the 10 beats, Edge countered with several punches of his own and then a spear through the middle rope. Once SmackDown returned from a commercial break, Edge was locked in the cloverleaf submission. The Rated R Superstar not only fought out of it, but also put Sheamus in a hold. The fight then went to the top rope, where Edge hit a superplex followed by the Edge-O-Matic, but only earned 2 slaps on the mat. Edge then went to the top again, but Sheamus took control. The Celtic Warrior got Edge on his back and hit White Noise, and then immediately the Celtic Cross. However, Edge refused to lose and kept the match going. Unfortunately, Edge was rewarded with the 10 beats of the Baron and then rewarded with 20 more. The hometown hero was worn out, but wouldn't give up. A spear was countered with a knee and a bro kick, but still, Edge would not stay down. Some fast thinking by the Rated R Superstar allowed him to hit a spear. When that didn't work, Edge hit another that did the trick. 3 slaps, and Edge rode off into the sunset with his hand held high. A fantastic way to end a fantastic career. Now, to see the first and last matches of Christian, watch the video on screen.